Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Laurice Grant. I'm the Community Nutrition Manager for Food Bank of New York City. I work out of our Harlem location. Today we're going to be talking about whole grains. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to invest in yourself and take some time to find out about something healthy that could affect your overall health, make you feel good, add to your longevity, and do a healthy recipe with me. Today we're going to do a healthy recipe that I've already posted online. It's a whole grain recipe with brown rice and black beans. It's a nice little salad that I like to have on hand for times when I'm hungry and I'm in a hurry and I want something that's good for me. We're also going to talk about the benefits of adding whole grains to your diet. You should make half of your grains whole grains, and there's lots of reasons for that. We're going to jump right into why you should make half of your grains whole grains. We're going to talk about how to identify whole grains when you're shopping, and we're going to do this recipe together. So let's begin. You should make half of your grains whole grains, and that's because whole grains are full of nutrients. Nutrients like vitamins, minerals, vitamin B, antioxidants, and some small amounts of iron, zinc, magnesium, and also copper. All of these things add a richness to your diet when you add whole grains. They have a lot of health benefits for you. One of the health benefits of adding whole grains to your diet would be to reduce your risk of heart disease. Heart disease is one of the leading killers worldwide, and adding whole grains to your diet can reduce your risk of heart disease. Adding whole grains to your diet can also reduce your risk of stroke. It can reduce your risk of some cancers, especially colorectal cancer. It can reduce your risk of diabetes and obesity. And also, it can reduce risk of premature death because it has so many health benefits like reducing your risk of heart disease and colorectal cancers. It almost goes hand in hand with helping you reduce premature death. The other thing that it's really, really good for is helping and aiding in your digestion. And also some whole grains are prebiotics and add good gut bacteria, which also aids in digestion and helps with reducing your risk of obesity. Whole grains are good for almost everyone, but if you're a person that struggles with celiac disease, you probably should be very cautious about which whole grains you add to your diet. I'll get to the ones that are good for a person who can't do gluten in a minute. But let's talk a little bit more about what a whole grain is and why you should add it to your diet. Whole grains are grains that have all three parts. That means they have bran, which is the outer shell, and the bran has fibers, minerals, and high in antioxidants. It has the middle, which is mostly called the endosperm, and mostly the carbohydrate layer, and then the germ, which is the tiny nugget on the inside, which is high in vitamins, minerals, protein, and some plant compounds. Now, when you get all three of those, that's considered a whole grain. The bran, the endosperm, and the germ. You can have them rolled, you can have them cracked, you can have them crushed. As long as you have all three, they're still considered a whole grain. What refined grains are is when you strip away the bran, which again, the outer layer that has all of the fiber, minerals, and antioxidants, and when you strip away the inner, which is the germ, which is high in vitamins and minerals, protein, and plant compounds, and only leave the center, which is the endosperm. Now, some refined grains say things like enriched because it's mostly the carbohydrates, but they'll throw a little bit of the germ back in so they can say it's enriched, but it's still not a whole grain. Many of the grains that you see in the supermarket are very deceiving. You look at bread and it's brown and you think whole grain, But that may not be accurate because that bread may be an enriched bread, which means it's mostly endosperm, the part that has high carbohydrates, only the carbohydrates, and they've added in some molasses for color and thrown a little bit of the germ back in there so they can say, oh, it has some good grains for you, but it's not a whole grain. The things that you want to be looking for when you're searching for whole grains are the words whole or 100%. And it should be the first ingredient on your ingredient list. So if it says oats, which you know oats are a whole grain, that's a whole grain. If it says barley or buckwheat or amaranth or spelt, it's a whole grain. If that's the first ingredient, because that means that the most of that product is a whole grain. So again, you're looking for the words whole or 100% when you're looking at grains, and those are your key indicators that this is a whole grain product, and this will help me on my healthy journey to add whole grains to my diet. Some great ways to add whole grains during the day is to change your breakfast habit. If you like breakfast cereal, you can try some whole oats. Oatmeal is a great way to add whole grain to your diet first thing in the morning. You can use whole grain oats in several ways. You don't have to just eat it as hot cereal. You can make recipes of it and turn it into granola to sprinkle over your fruit and your yogurt. That's a great way to add whole grain to your diet. You can look at other cereals to look at their ingredient list to see if they have whole grains as well. But starting out the first part of your day with whole grains is a great way to add whole grains to your diet. You can also add things like brown rice to your diet or barley to your soups, maybe some cornmeal, and make a nice cornmeal, either cereal or cornmeal dishes so that you can, like cornbread, instead of using white flour to add whole grains to your day. Other whole grains that are very popular are amaranth and buckwheat, which are very, very high in protein, and those are also gluten-free. So if you're concerned about gluten in your diet and you want to reduce the gluten in your diet, buckwheat and amaranth are two of the grains that you could add that are gluten-free. Also, oats and brown rice are gluten-free, and those should be good for you. But I, as a nutritionist, can't have the final say. You should always consult your doctor if you have medical conditions that you feel like need special attention, and that a doctor will be able to guide you in the right direction. Some of the other whole grains that are very good for you would be quinoa and rye, spelt, teff, wheat berries, millet, flaxseed, cornmeal, bulgur, barley, and kasha. So there are a large variety of whole grains out there. You should probably try a few of them to see which one is your favorite. Again, the reasons why you should add whole grains to your diet and make half of your grains whole grains to replace the refined grains that you're already eating are because they're high in vitamins and minerals. They help reduce your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, your risks of stroke. They also help with healthy digestion. They promote good gut health. They can reduce chronic inflammation and also can reduce your risk of cancers, especially colorectal cancer. So adding half of your grains, that would be a whole grain. Adding whole grains to your diet would be a fantastic way to improve your health and reduce a lot of risks of diseases and things that you would rather avoid. No one wants to feel bad. Everybody wants to feel good and healthy and strong. Also, getting proper exercise every single day is also a great way to enhance your health. Make sure you're taking time to be active, and while you're eating healthy foods and making sure you're well hydrated, you also want to make sure you're getting some exercise. So let's get started making our recipe. We're going to make black bean and brown rice salad. Now, I've said to some of our pantry clients before that one of my favorite rices is boil in the bag brown rice, because when it's raw, it's just like this. You put it in boiling water, and in 10 minutes you have perfectly done rice. If you're not familiar with making rice, this is quick, it's easy, and it's inexpensive. But it's also very easy to make from just a huge bag. And if you want more flavor into it, you can add a little bit of low sodium broth and make yourself a nice pot of brown rice. But I just wanted to add that it's an option to have a boil in the bag rice. So we're going to start our recipe. I've already boiled our bag of rice, and this is what it looks like when it's done. Nice and cute. Just open my bag and toss this in there in my bowl. So the recipe calls for 1 cup of brown rice, it calls for 1 can of black beans, they're in your purse. All right, put that in there. And the recipe is posted on the website, so you'll have it. 1/2 cup of onion, which I cut up the red onion. I kind of like the red onion, it's pretty. But I have the green onion on the table because, you know, oftentimes you may not have red onion, but you have some green onion or Spanish onions or white onion. Use whatever you have. The fun part about cooking is trying new things. And if you get so tense about some of the details, you won't enjoy cooking. You'll be so preoccupied by worrying about, oh, I don't have this, I have to go back to the store. You know what? Sometimes you just have to kind of go with it. So if you have some kind of onion in the house, use the kind of onion you have. I just wanted to make the salad look pretty for you on the video, so I went with the red onion. It also calls for 1/2 cup of pepper, and I wanted the red pepper because it's nice and bright and pretty. And it calls for, once you get to that point with the onion, the pepper, the brown rice, and the black beans, you're going to stop and keep those together. Then you're going to start to make your sauce. So I have a little cup here. We're going to make it out of this. Good. You can either use a 1/4 cup of vinegar or you can use lemon juice. And so I'm just going to use the lemon juice because I prefer the lemon juice to the vinegar. But also, you know, it's up to your personal taste, and everyone's different. Like today I feel like lemon, but tomorrow I might feel like vinegar. So if you feel like you'd rather have the vinegar, go with the vinegar. It's whatever you like. So I'm just going to squeeze a little of this lemon juice out until I get to about a 1/4 cup. I'm going to add a little bit of water. Take the seeds out. One of the reasons why I like to do recipes with you is to show you how easy they are to navigate. Has 2 tablespoons of oil. There's 1, and there's 2. We're going to put this in our cup. And I'm going to put the garlic in with that. And I cut up some parsley because I like parsley in mine. I'm going to put some fresh parsley in there. Not a lot, just a little. And I'm going to add a little water. Let me grab that. Not much. but I'm using the water because I think that if I use just the lemon juice and the oil, it's going to be too tart for me. So I want to use a little bit of the water. I'm going to put a top on this, put my finger over this and shake it up a little bit. Mix it all together. And that's going to be my dressing. Now, what do you say? I don't have all that dressing. You know, you can just use your Italian dressing. If you have a little Italian dressing, you can use a little of that as well. I mean, we're going to make this as easy as possible. We want a nice salad. We want a nice salad with our whole grains and our protein. It's a vegetarian dish, and it's going to be tasty, but we don't want to drive yourself crazy because cooking is supposed to be fun, and this is fun. So we're going to add our dressing into our bean and rice mixture. Toss it all in there. It calls for a half teaspoon of salt, which to me would be one turn, and a quarter teaspoon of pepper, which would be about 4 of these. And then I'm just going to take this together and I'm going to stir it up. Can you see that? And put it all together. And then what you're going to do with this is you're going to cool it off. Now, one of the reasons I like this is not only because it has beans and brown rice, but because it has protein. So if I have this as either a side dish or a main dish, it's going to keep me full a little bit longer because of the whole grains and because of the protein from the black beans. It's got a little bit of nice zing from the lemon juice and the parsley. You also could use cilantro if you prefer that. And it's something that I can keep in my refrigerator and have quickly. And the reason I like that is because as it gets warmer, sometimes you're not in the mood to cook every single day. So this is a great salad to have on hand when you don't feel like cooking, but you want a little something because you're hungry and it's healthy for you. So there's my bean and brown rice and bean salad. I'm going to bring it closer so you can see it. And we're just going to put that in the refrigerator. Some other things that you could add into the salad are some diced carrots if you like diced carrots. A little bit more, like I said, parsley or cilantro, depending on what you like. You can add tomatoes in there. Be creative. Add your favorite vegetables to that. Keep it on hand. Serving size would be a half cup. This is a 1/4 cup measuring cup. This would be 1 portion size, which is a half cup right there. That's the portion you're looking at. So again, when we're talking about adding whole grains to our diet, we want to add whole grains to our diet because it's a healthy way to reduce our risk of several diseases that are not good for us, like heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, some cancers, and also a way to increase our vitamins, our minerals, and also to help our digestion. You want things that are going to be good for your body. You pretty much are what you eat, and you should enjoy every single bite. And it's even better if it's doing something very healthy for you. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to spend a few minutes thinking about healthy living, healthy eating, and a healthy lifestyle. I want to encourage you to try this recipe at home. It's delicious. I love it. And I want you to send me any information about workshops that you'd like information on, or if you want to do some one-on-one nutrition counseling, I'm open for that as well. You can always reach me at the Community Kitchen and Pantry or leave me an email. Thank you so much again for joining. Have a very healthy weekend.